Every way there is to grow a business involves rejection. Networking, content, ads, all of it. And out of all of them, outreach feels the worst because it's the only one where you can actually see the person that's rejecting you. I've seen it all the time with the hundreds of clients that I've helped over the last 4 years with their LinkedIn. In this video, I've taken one of the trainings that I shot for my client group because I think it has absolute relevance to the people following this channel. Let's get stuck in. I've put it into a model here of the top four things that founder-led businesses tend to do when they want to grow their business. And along the x-axis here, we've got the speed at which you can develop opportunities. And along the y-axis, it's the number of people that you can reach per hour of effort. So if we look, a very common one to do is networking events. So going out to Chamber of Commerce events, BNI, BX, CUB, all of these different organizations that you can join and meet people in person. And now these are awesome, but when you look at these events, there's two things that aren't getting captured here. One is it's very rare that even if you go to a full house with hundreds of people in it, that you're going to have a meaningful conversation with more than 2 or 3 people. So there's a lot of time that goes that is involved in going to an in-person event when you factor in travel time, getting ready time, and also a lot of the dead time that happens at these events in between, feature presentations or whatever else. So that's something that doesn't really get accounted for, but it's something to think about. And the other thing that doesn't get measured when it comes to networking events is, this is why people like them, because you'll stumble across people who you get along well with and that you vibe with. But what people don't realize is at every event, there are people who everyone is weighing up everyone. I don't know about you. If I go to a networking event, I can usually tell quite quickly if someone is, aligned with my values or is someone that I want to, continue a conversation with. Now, if we apply that to the whole idea of getting rejected, everyone is getting silently rejected at these networking events, whether you like it or not. It's not measured and you can't really see it or feel it. But people are making these snap judgments in their minds. So the reason I'm making this point is because one of the biggest challenges with outreach is you actually get to see and hear, or read in this case, rejection from people. So they may say, this isn't for me right now. And for some people that might hit home quite hard, but don't get downhearted by that, because it's just natural. We can't be everything to anyone. And the real power is when you embrace who you are as a person and try and find people who really resonate with that. If you try to be everything to everyone, you'll be nothing to no one. All right. So that's just something really important to talk about, because networking events is probably, there's some people who just do this and don't do any of the rest. So with networking events, really the downside there is conversations that don't happen. Okay. Now the next one up is if you want to get people to naturally come to you and be like a magnet, as it is the case with networking events, you can do a one-to-many and reach a lot of people per hour of effort if you create content. Now, the thing about organic content in particular is it's a skill. So if you've never done content before and you want to all of a sudden start doing videos and start winning business, it's not going to happen overnight. It's a skill that you have to develop and put time into developing. So if you're a busy founder or business owner and you do not have the time or the motivation intrinsically to, I'm going to create content every week without fail. Daily is great, but let's be realistic. If you can create content every week, you're doing well. If you can't do that, then I would reconsider even considering content. Because although it's a free medium and you can reach a lot of people, there is a time investment there that not a lot of people talk about. Now, on the other side of content is, yes, you'll get a lot of people who will interact with your content, like it, comment on it, and whatever else. But the rejection that comes from content is ignored content. So if you have content because on LinkedIn, you can actually see how many members that you reach. So if you look at the members reached against the engagement, the rejection that you have from your content is it's not getting a lot of engagement versus the people that it's reaching.
So that is another form of rejection that you get. And the reason I keep saying the word rejection is a good thing. It means you're trying hard enough to get to the point where people are saying no to you. If you're not getting rejected, it means you're not doing enough to grow your business, in my opinion, because you're playing in a very safe space and probably not to your potential. So ignored content, that's the form of rejection that you get up there. Now, on the ads front, ads, when they're executed well, work very well for a business. The problem with ads for a lot of smaller businesses starting out is the volume of advertising budget that you need is often not congruent to what people are willing to spend. So what I mean by that is, if you want to do ads, you need to be spending north of $2,000 every month for a period of 3 to 6 months to really start seeing the benefits of ads. Now, if you don't know what you're doing, you then have to pay a professional to do it. You have to outsource that. You can expect the typical retainer for someone running ads, on the cheap end, it's going to be $1,000 a month. So that $2,000 of budget now is now gone up to $3,000, and a third of that is just servicing the ads, right? So really, ads work really well when the more budget you give an ads agency, it doesn't change the amount of work they have to do, but it does change the speed at which you can get your results. But if you're a smaller business, ads may not be the best point of contact for you. And also with ads, what is considered a good click-through ratio, so that is the amount of people who see the ad versus the amount of people who click on it, a good result is just over 1%. So that means that 99% of people, when you're running ads, are seeing your ads and scrolling away. They're not interested. And likewise, they might get through and click the ad, but then you get to a landing page and you're looking around 20% there. So of 10 people that arrive from clicking the ad, 2 of them will likely sign up and take an action. So there's a lot of rejection that happens there. You just don't see it, okay? And you don't really measure it either, or take it to heart. But in terms of the effectiveness, 1% for a good ad, 20% for a average landing page. Those numbers are, given how much you have to spend to get those results, are quite sobering. Now, the last one, and this is what we're doing really with the A1 Connection Propeller, is outreach. So that is where you are compiling a wish list of people that you want to speak to, they're relevant to your business, and that it's something that could work really, really well. We're going to speak to them directly and position ourselves as, hey, I'm here, could be an opportunity, could be a fit, and you're trying to make direct conversations. Now, if we're comparing this to ads, right, a good click-through rate is 1% on an ad, right, over 1%. With outreach, we know that even a bad profile who's completely dormant, you will get 20% of people connecting with you at a minimum. If you're not getting 20%, there's something wrong there, but what we're seeing across the board with our clients, minimum 20% connection rate. So 20 times better if you equate connection rate with click-through rate. And if you're looking at the amount of people who actually reply, so of the 600 that you can, requests that you can make every month, again, going back to a dormant profile, 3% will reply. So that means of that 600, 18 people will actually reply. So if you're looking based purely on numbers alone, it's a much more efficient and cost-effective way to get to exactly who you want to speak to. Now, what's different about this versus all of the other 3 is that you will, or your team will, whoever you have managing your inbox, they will see firsthand the rejection. And the rejection in this scenario is, I'm not interested. And that is the worst case scenario. You message someone and say, look, thanks for connecting. I'm not interested, right? They're either completely not interested, or there might be someone who's like, look, I'm not in the position to review this now, but give me a shout in 3 months' time. And you'll have the systems in place to make sure that when 3 months does come along, they're there in your calendar, in your to-do list, ready to be like, hey, We spoke 3 months ago. You said it wasn't the time. What's new? You know, so that's really what I would impress upon you is the only difference is you get to see the rejection here. That does not mean these others are not without rejection. So what we're doing with the A1 Connection Propeller is this is a really unique product in that it helps to drive everything, right? So we're doing the outreach. What the outreach is doing is it's helping us when it comes to networking events. So if we meet someone at a networking event, add me on LinkedIn, you add each other on LinkedIn, and I guarantee you more times than not, you never see or hear from that person again. When you have the standard operation procedures down pat with the A1 Connection Propeller, there is no way that you can't touch every person or get in touch with every person who you meet at a networking event and actually be able to make those conditional conversations happen in real life. Hey, let's catch up. Yes, let's discuss it on LinkedIn or organize the time and get it done. The other way it's driving these other areas is as people connect with you and become connections on LinkedIn, what you're doing is you're training the LinkedIn algorithm that this is my audience. These are the kind of people that I serve. So when you create content while doing this exercise, when you post that content, you've trained the algorithm who to send that content to. So what it will do in the long run is help your content perform better and get to the right people. And then finally, the way this flywheel works on the ad side is as we get people connecting with us, we are then able to get their email address and phone numbers a lot of the time. Now, that's not to say that you're going to go and use that to spam them or whatever else. But what you can do is you can take that audience and make it what's called a custom audience inside your ad profile. Why this is good is because you can use a method called retargeting in your advertising. If you're serving ads to a cold audience, they will cost you a lot of money. But if you are serving it to a warm audience, it's about a fifth of the price to advertise to an audience that you already know about. So with this system, you're able to get the exact people that you want to say to either Meta or Google or LinkedIn, hey, these are the people that I want you to advertise to. You're doing a lot of this job for it. And therefore, it's a lot easier and a lot cheaper to advertise to those people.
Now, if LinkedIn is your primary channel, you likely want to know how to prioritize your day when you're on the platform, because not all activity is created equal. I break that all down in this next video. I'll see you there. Bye.